Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at NDN TV Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button and be the first to get notifications.
Bayelsa State Governor Senator Diri has called for global intervention to prevent coastal communities in the Niger Delta from going into extinction. Governor Diri made the call recently at the United Nations Climate Change Summit, COP28, in Dubai, the United Arab Emirates.
The Trans-Boundary Water Incorporation Network, TWIN, was created at COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, to build a global alliance for the protection of river deltas that are being threatened around the world in the face of climate change. The third event of the global coalition working towards an unsanctioned river delta convention held recently at COP28 in Dubai, the United Arab Emirates, where Bayelsa State Governor Diri enumerated the peculiar negative impacts of climate change on Bayelsa communities, to include severe coastal erosion and seasonal flooding occasioned by rising sea levels.
In the context of erosion along the shoreline retreats, the Nigerian's Bayelsa State alone accounted for 66.6% of coastal erosion and shoreline retreat, while rivers and AKUGHA, our neighboring states, accounted for 14.43% and 10.63% respectively.
Governor Diri informed other participants at the UN summit that Bayelsa has been the most endangered state at the onset of seasonal coastal floods in Nigeria. Speaking further during the unveiling of the UN Convention for the Conservation of River Deltas at COP28, Governor Diri sought global assistance to prevent endangered coastal communities in the Niger Delta from going into extinction.
During my visit to the affected communities in this flood of 2022, I recognize the urgency in managing our deltas, water bodies, sea level risk, as well as pollution of our deltas. And this is why we join the deltas to unite and appeal to the rest of the world to work with us to address this situation.
Present at the unveiling of the Convention for the Conservation of River Deltas were experts, policymakers, and non-governmental organizations who raised concern over untold livelihood losses and human displacements imposed by climate change in sub-Saharan Africa and Asia. Professor Michael Clance of the University of Colorado in Boulder and Simi Ezdi, who chairs the Committee on Climate Change in Pakistan's parliament, expressed solidarity with the Bayelsa State Governor in his call for global action to prevent endangered communities in the Niger Delta from going into extinction.
We've been telling policymakers the deltas have been eroding for the last 4 decades, at the least. So right now we're paying for decisions made decades ago, and our grandkids are going to pay for our decisions because we don't want to spend the money now to stop a problem or prevent it.
We hope that this initiative will promote inclusive governance of water resources and give local communities more voice facing adverse consequences of climate change on water resources. We also look forward for collaboration in future to share best practices for the protection of river deltas.
The Niger Delta is one of the world's significant wetlands and has the largest mangrove ecosystem in Africa, making it a major concentration of biodiversity on the continent. Unfortunately, the region has witnessed untold biodiversity loss as a result of climate crisis. To get the international community more acquainted with the region's plight, Governor Diri has, on behalf of the Bayelsa State Government, promised to host the maiden edition of the Delta Unite, a global alliance built for conservation of river deltas, next year in Yenagoa, the Bayelsa State capital.
Inside the Niger Delta,